There's probably only one person on the planet I enjoy talking about wealth management with, and that would be Bob Hardcastle. We are not going to talk about wealth management today.
Oh, my goodness.
He's even fun talking about that.
And, everybody knows his voice and his name, and here he is in person, and isn't he cute?
Oh, wow. I'm going to tell my wife I've got a good-looking blonde.
Jan, are you paying attention? We're going to talk about his new book, College Baseball and Other Shenanigans, and yes, we'll get into the other shenanigans on this.
Anything that has the word shenanigans in it, I'm there.
Can't go wrong. But I'm telling you, I want to thank you for bringing me back to feeling like I was 15 reading this book.
That's how I was.
It's a great book that a kid who's totally any age into baseball, and I don't mean just MLB. We're talking. Right. I mean, this is college baseball.
What is this all about? Why did you write this?
He was a shortstop.
You know what?
Okay.
An award.
I went to Southern Illinois University. I was the first one in the family to go to college, and it was such a big deal. I got to go. I had a lot of music scholarships that was offered at different schools, and I was offered one baseball scholarship, and it was down at SIU. So I went. It was just phenomenal. I mean, I got a scholarship. I made the team. I went on the Southern trip. We had so much fun. And, I just thought 1959, whether you're playing corkball or whether you're playing softball, whatever, most people know a little bit about baseball, but you want to have fun. So I actually wrote it for fun. I want people, if somebody can tell me, I chuckled a couple times during the book, that's what I like.
Well, and it's every American kid growing up. It really is. Now tell me if this was your experience. There were kids who didn't like to play baseball, weren't into it, but since you loved it, I know I did this, we tried to talk those kids into playing anyway because we needed every player we could get out on the field.
That's right. Remember in the old days, you'd pick a team and you'd grab a bat and go one hand over the other. I know you can't see it on radio, but then you'd always have the kid over on the sidelines who just didn't, I can't play. That was the fellow that always played right field. Okay? You'd get him out on the field. Just go out there someplace.
Something comes your way, we'll yell too. By the way, we do have two cameras here, so we can see those things. So watch your gestures.
Okay.
So is this your first book?
No, actually, Money Talk was his
first.
Well,
I mean, not
my
money
first
related.
novel, let's say.
Okay.
And then I've got another one coming now that I'm starting. I was telling Ron that's going to be fall of '59. And that'll include sports such as football, basketball, and wrestling. And then we'll do winter and spring of '60.
Yeah.
And then I'll be through.
Kids who go on scholarships to college, what happens, when you became a success in a whole different area? Because obviously you can't do this forever. So what about your peers at that time? Were many of them fine, or is that's the peak and they're over, or what do they do then?
Most of them peak is at the end of high school.
Okay.
Seriously, I mean,
yes,
our summer ball, and the majority do not go on to college, and then a very small group going to play professional baseball.
And then after that, after the ones who got a scholarship, what do they do when they get out of school? And
most of them, their life ambition, my goal was to be a professional baseball player. Oh. So I did sign a contract with the Baltimore Orioles. I went away. I was thrilled. It was the greatest time of my life until I tore my rotator.
Yes.
And then when you tell your rotator in 1915, that was in 62, 63.
But still, you don't have what you have.
You don't have arthroscopic back in 1960s.
Right.
So that was it. I cried from Thomasville, Georgia, all the way back to St. Louis. Aww. And that was it. And then I went back and I was lucky. I got the assistant baseball coaching job down at Southern. Did that for 4 years until the head coach retired. And I said, okay, I want to be the head coach. And the athletic director said, you're a kid. You can't be the head coach. So I made a decision. He said, you can be the assistant coach for the new coach. So then I made a decision to stay in the investment field permanently.
Well, Bob, now, we're in the draft season now, MLB, and the Cardinals just signed 3 or 4 guys right out of high school. What do you think about that, going right out of high school as opposed to skipping, going to college?
I think it depends on how much money they get. It's money talk.
Money talk.
Okay, and here's why. If you're going to get $100,000, $200,000, something like that to sign, you've got enough money to play ball and then go back and get your college degree.
And a lot of them do that.
But if you're going to get $10,000, it's to me, it's not worth it.
Okay, but let's look at it. Let me ask you, as the athlete coming out of high school and going into that system, some of them get rushed through the system now. They
Hurt their arm.
Yeah, right.
First week, they're gone.
Exactly.
It's over with.
Yeah.
No scholarship, nothing. I think a lot depends too on the parents. The parents have got, even though when we were kids, our parents didn't know anything, right?
Right.
Okay. They didn't know
Play
anything.
ball, good, have fun.
Yeah, right. Go
Be home by
be
dinner.
home by 10 o'clock. But our parents really know, I think, what's best for us. So I think a parent pretty well perceives, the parents always say, well, my kid's the best, But the kid, like my mom, my mom had been deceased for about 10 years, about 10 years ago, and I was finally getting to her memoirs. And she said, Bob received a letter today from Coach Martin at Southern Illinois University back in 1950.
Which is where this book begins.
58, okay? And he was offered a full baseball scholarship. Bob told me today after he read the letter, he was going to accept it. I found this out by reading her memoirs. The next line was, Dad and I are so disappointed.
Whoa! But they never told you that.
Told me. Never. They wanted me to play music.
Yeah.
I was a saxon clarinist. I had these music scholarships.
Now instead he tap dances on KTRS every
That's
weekend.
right.
When is Money Talk on?
Money Talk's on every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock on KTRS, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday do the market update, the wrap up, and the thought for the day about 4:02 every
Man,
day.
they keep you busy.
You know what? I just wanted to say this one thing he was saying off the air about the market and how that whole thing worked. And you said something about greed that I want you to say.
It's the
We
best
really-
advice you ever give.
we really can't be greedy. The market is not there. A lot of people think you take your money, you put it in the market, it makes a lot of money for you. That's not the way it works. You take your money, you put it in the market, it says, I've been waiting for your money, and it goes down, and you say, oh my God, I just lost the money, I'm going to get out. And then you say, well, no, I'll get back in. And it takes your money again. It says, I've been waiting for you. And it goes back down again. So you get in, you don't get greedy. You say, I've got a time period.
Yeah.
And on the front end, you say, this is how much I want to make, maybe 8-10%. Or this is how much I can afford to lose, maybe 10 to 15%.
It's just like going into the casino.
Yeah. You can choose. You can actually choose your level of risk, but it's got to be over time.
Okay.
This book again is called College Baseball and Other Shenanigans. We didn't get into the other shenanigans, but they're in here. Trust me,
They're
it's
in
a
there.
fun read.
Big Judy, oh, she's a winner. Fight with an alligator. All these kind of things.
At the end, the final game.
That final chapter is all about the final championship series for the Illinois Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. So it's baseball all the way through,
and
but
it's
all
got
these
drama.
other funny stories and shenanigans.
Yeah, I actually, while I was reading this book, ate more fried chicken than I ate in a long time. There's a reason for that. Thanks for giving us copies. Will you sign these?
I will. I will definitely will, and then
That's
you can
great.
give them to your people.
Great, thank you.
Thank you
Nice.
so much
Thank
for
you
being
very
It
much.
looks like a lot of fun. Thanks.
Joy. Thank you so much.
And thank you to Nighthawk Security. This segment is made possible through their generosity. They're locally owned and locally monitored here in St. Louis since 1974. Home and business security for the St. Louis metro area for over 40 years. They will install, service, maintain, and monitor your security system or take over an existing system. Call 846-4600 and ask for Joe.